Good morning, everybody. This is Jaime Cortez once again. Welcome to Choir Stories by OCP. I am your host, Jaime Cortez. As I mentioned, I am in Mesa, Arizona. I have a wonderful guest today. Today we have with us Renee Favo, and Renee is the music director at St. Paul Catholic Church. St. Paul Catholic Church is in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. It's a wonderful place there. And tell me, what's the diocese there, Renee?
St. Augustine, Diocese of St. Augustine.
Diocese of Augustine. So I want to welcome you to the program, Renee.
Thank you.
It's so nice to have you here. I know that you are in a parish that's very dynamic. I actually had the luck to visit your parish last year before all this happened, all this COVID-19, and it's super busy, and they have a very active community that not only with formation and with sacraments, but also there's people helping those who are less fortunate. There's deacons that are visiting the sick. I mean, it's a very active parish. And I remember one of the things that was beautiful about it was that it is literally a block from the beach. So I remember that. And so you could almost hear the waves hitting, and if you stand in the right place, you can see the ocean and the sunset there. And so it's just a beautiful place. So I was lucky to be there. Now, not only that, but I remember, if I'm not mistaken, you were about to start remodeling. Are you remodeling now?
We're actually building a new church.
Oh, wow.
So the walls are going up in all of the rain and the heat. It's just been amazing to see it rising.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful. It's going to be gorgeous.
A new building. Did you have to get rid of the old building?
Well, we are going to repurpose it because it has a place in a lot of people's hearts. And so we're not quite sure. I don't think there were some original plans in place. And then I don't know if those are changing. So I would hate to say, but I know we're going to repurpose it in some way.
Okay, wonderful. Now tell me a little bit about what is your responsibility at St. Paul.
Well, I've been there. This is my 6th year, going into my 6th year, and I'm director of music ministries. So it has been a wonderful 5 years so far. We have several choirs. The parish choir, which is about 30 people, if everybody shows up. The contemporary choir, which did the Sunday evening mass at 7 p.m. I say did because right now, not. Then a children's choir, which just sings seasonally for Easter and Christmas. And then we recently started a scola, but that had only been practicing for a couple months, so we didn't get to. We were supposed to sing Crux Fidelis on Good Friday, and we didn't get to do that.
This COVID-19 just really killed a lot of dreams, definitely. So I know I did see. I was actually taking a look at your bulletin, and you are now celebrating. Well, first of all, you reopened. You are celebrating masses, but you are actually doing them in a gym. Is that correct? In a gym?
We are, and it's been amazing to see how God's hand has worked in everything in our parish, because our gym was destroyed in a hurricane. It's been a couple years now. So we had to rebuild a gym. We took down the old one and put up a new one, and now here we are worshiping in the gym.
Wow.
So beautiful space, plenty of room. We can probably fit up to 150 people. And last Sunday we had 145 at the 10 a.m. So we now have 10 masses in the gym.
I saw your schedule. You actually start on Saturday like at noon or at 2 o'clock or something. It's really
We do. Wow. 10 masses, yes.
And do you have to, are you allowed to play any music in your diocese at this time?
Our pianist is the only one that is providing music. So he plays before Mass, at communion, and after Mass. And then everybody's required to wear a mask and bring their own chair. So
sure.
They don't touch anything. The doors are open for them by greeters. They walk in, they set their chair down. Really, the only time they don't have their mask on is when they receive communion. And that's why we're also glad to be back, because we're finally receiving communion.
Oh, yeah. It's first of all, you're not alone in that. There are so many places in the country. I've talked to many directors from other places, and many of them have the same situation where they're opening their doors. They are allowed to have mass. Everybody has to wear a mask. That's including in my parish too. But at the same time, depending on which bishop it is, they're not allowed to sing. So in some places, they have asked them to just play the piano. In some places,
Right.
they have allowed one person to come and play the piano or the guitar and sing a few songs. In
Mhm.
some places, you can actually have maybe a pianist and a cantor and sing all the ordinary and, maybe a couple
Right.
of songs. So it's very varied. So how that happens. And so, whatever we can take is what we'll do. And I know that everybody's trying to be cooperative, and everybody's been pretty
Right.
good about it too. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah. We of course miss the music, and every once in a while you'll hear somebody humming under their mouth very quietly. And that's wonderful, because I think especially the songs that we've been singing, if Tim plays one of those, it just kind of happens naturally.
I
We
bet.
want to sing because that reaches so far back in our memories and in our hearts and in our faith. So.
Do you get to do any kind of Zoom meeting or any communication with your choirs right now?
Well, I did do a Zoom meeting early on, because the choir, especially at first, they were like, how are we going to stay connected? And I still do email them the bulletin every week with just kind of an update. My choir has really grown close just by praying together. At the end of rehearsals, a lot of times we would we'd do a closing prayer, and then we'd have intentions. And a lot of times there was so much sharing that we would be there praying for half an hour after rehearsal ended.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the hard part for us, was that connection, especially through prayer. And so I'm still in our emails, I'm asking for who do we need to pray for within our group. And so I get responses back, and there are some pretty important things that we are needing to pray for, besides just the world at large. We rely on each other to pray for each other's family and friends and intentions. So I think that's one of the things that's been really hard, but that we're still trying to keep connected.
Absolutely.
We did have one rehearsal in a park. It was just a small group of musicians that came together, and so we were out in the open air. This was early on also. So there are a few things that we've done, and we'll probably maybe do another Zoom now that everybody's a little more comfortable with it, because we did it early on, and we're all still kind of learning a lot.
Push the button. Push the
I know.
button. Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, I don't know. This may be something that's maybe you haven't noticed. But looking at your bulletin, there are three different boxes that are about prayer. They're about names of people that people are praying for in the parish. I was
Right.
so impressed by that. You have different parts of the bulletin where there's boxes with names of people. This is the people we're praying for, and
Mhm.
these are the mass intentions. And pray for these folks. It was amazing. So I remember thinking the same thing that you said. A lot of people just with concentrating on prayer there, which is really wonderful. I
Right.
remember receiving such great hospitality from you and from your choir there, being there last year. It was wonderful. Tell me, what do you miss the most? Now that we've been in, like, what is this, our fourth month? I can't remember now. So what do you miss the most?
I guess I miss the collaboration amongst the choir. There were people that, everybody has a beautiful voice in their own right, but then there were others who had additional gifts. For example, one of my choir members saw that, the back row wasn't able to see me. So he built me this little box to stand on. So, there are just ideas that are coming from people constantly, that creativity. There were some things that didn't get to happen, and I'm really sorry about that, because you composed this beautiful song for us that we were supposed to sing at our Eucharistic Congress for the
Oh,
whole
that's
diocese.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's
So,
supposed to be
and
this year.
yeah, and you did not know what the theme was, but it was the perfect theme. And so I miss singing with other people beyond our parish also, because singing in a large choir like that is just amazing. I miss those opportunities that seem to just keep happening. God just keeps providing those. And so I miss not being able to invite, even like when you came, invite people to inspire my choir. Because I think sometimes we become so parochial in our little, I don't want to say little parish, because ours is a rather large parish, but we need ideas, fresh ideas and inspiration. And so I miss having that interaction kind of more so with the outside world right now.
So true. And I just want to share with you that I hear that so much. I mean, you're not alone in that. Most of us are dying because we need that interaction. I think
Mhm.
as musicians and artists, that's what we are. it's part of our core to interact and to connect with people and to be in front of them and making connections as we're present to each other. And so that's been the hardest. So I really share that with you, definitely. Being this a series that comes from OCP, I'm compelled to ask you if there's a song that you can think of that you maybe were preparing, or something that you missed out that you didn't get a chance to sing. Do you have any song that you want to mention?
There was a song that I saw, I used today's liturgy. And coming up, I just took a look at it. It was for July 26th by Jeffrey Honore, St. Teresa's Prayer. And I had heard that sung at what it was, I think it was at NPM in one of the sight reading sessions. It seemed to me, it popped in after I listened to it. And it is just so gorgeous. There's a recording on YouTube with a high school group. Oh my goodness, it's just absolutely beautiful. So I would have definitely been doing that with my women's choir, because it's for women, SSA. And yeah, my women are real. I'm very proud of them, but they're just very connected, and I think they would have done a great job. So we'll just do that in a long range plan.
I know.
Later.
Jeffrey Honor is such a talent. He's a good friend of mine, and so I'm sure that's a beautiful song to sing. So, well, yeah, like you said, we're gonna have to wait. Everything's postponed, but what a beautiful choice. Tell me, we're gonna wrap it up. I want to thank you, Renee, for being so gracious and for taking time to speak to us today. Please say hello to everybody at St. Paul Catholic Church in Jacksonville Beach in Florida, and hopefully, we're all in this together. We're holding hands and walking through, and hopefully we'll be done with all this very, very soon. But I wanted to ask you if you want to give a little message of hope to your choir, and hopefully that'll translate to all the choirs in the world.
Sure. I was thinking about that, and I thought, there's something I always said to the choir: look up, because you're going to miss something if you don't. And we're not going to be together. We're not going to find that connection if we don't. So it's more not a literal look up now, but more of a let's remain positive, find the things that maybe God wants us to be working on in our personal lives, and it can all inform our singing when we come back together, whether it's our health or just taking time to breathe. I know there's been a lot of emphasis on breathing lately, just kind of calming ourselves. And of course, breathing contributes to singing. So I think just remain positive, find those things that God's finally giving us the time to do, whether it's reading or whatever in our lives. So I think it's just a real period of interest in inner reflection, and how can we make ourselves better spiritually, physically, so that when we come back to sing, we can be our best.
Thank you, Renee Favo. Thank you so much for that. I intend to look up today then and really notice things in the blessing. So thank you. Thank you so much for taking time. This is Jaime Cortez. This has been Choir Stories by OCP. We will see you at the next episode. Bye.
Bye.